Welcome this part of our worshiping throng. Water, God's word, bread, and cup of prayer and song. This is where children belong. Good morning, friends. Okay, guesses. I want you to guess how many days until Christmas? 12. Wow. 37? Or 47?
Oh, it's like in 8 weeks. 2 weeks.
Okay, let's ask Siri. Hey Siri, how many days until Christmas? 64 days.
Oh. How many weeks?
Well, you guess. Like, how many guess? 64 divided by 7. Who's good at math here? Big brains. We got big brains over here. 9 weeks? Okay, who has started their... You got it? Wow, we got a big brain right here. Who has started their Christmas list? Okay, list. Okay, grown-ups, do you remember when you were a kid, and I'm dating myself, but do you remember when you were a kid and the Sears wish book would come? And you would I don't know about you, I would write down page number 99, item B, whatever I wanted to make this whole list. Do you still make lists? Do you make a list of all the stuff you wanted? Oh, there's an Amazon wish book. So same thing. Yes, it has all the stuff, and you can put stickers in the book and kind of circle stuff that you want. Okay, so can you tell me what you got for Christmas last year? You got a Lego set. What about 2 years ago? Do you remember what you got 2 years ago? 3 years ago? You got close. Don't worry, because grown-ups, do you remember what you got last year and the year before and the year before? Do you remember any? You can't list all the stuff, right? Have you ever wanted something so bad, like maybe it was an American Girl doll or an Xbox or a hoverboard? Like you wanted that thing so bad and you got it. You got Nintendo. And tell me how grateful you were for that. Like your heart was so excited, right? Like Lindsay, you're what was the thing you wanted so bad? Your ears pierced, you were so excited about getting your ears pierced. What about you, Bradley?
I can remember this was my birthday or Christmas, but I really wanted a Nintendo Switch.
A Switch. Mm-hmm. And you got it. And when you got that thing that you wanted so bad, were you so grateful and so excited? And of those things that you guys wanted, how many of those things are now kind of collecting dust or maybe up on a shelf in the closet and we don't really play with it anymore? Anyone know? Grown-ups, that goes for you too. How many times have you wanted something so bad and then it gets old? I mean, is that true? Is that normal? That's normal, right? Yeah, but that's kind of normal. Right? We lose our appreciation for those things, right? We're going to talk about something in the Bible. It's in the book of Deuteronomy, which is the Old Testament. We've talked about that, right? And grown-ups, you could look it up in your pew Bible, but it's in the chapter 15. And Moses is talking to the Israelites, and he's teaching them the ways of God. And he says to them, okay, when you give generously. He's telling them, kind of rules about giving and generosity, when someone owes you money, after 7 years, just wipe the debt for you. Just wipe the debt away. Don't expect the money. Or, when you give to someone, don't give, it says, don't be hard-hearted or tight-fisted. Give generously. So he's telling them all these ways of giving and ways to care for your neighbor and people in need. And then he says this in verse 15, and this is the word I want you to hear. Remember. That's the word I want you to hear. Remember that you were a slave in Egypt and the Lord your God saved you. Remember. He wants the Israelites to never forget that you once were slaves. You once had something really terrible happen to you. Remember. In fact, the word remember comes up 352 times in scriptures. Remember. Don't forget. Remember. Why? Why would we have to remember? Remember. Remember. Don't forget. Well, I have an idea. I think that it's a warning. It's a warning that when we forget, when we lose our gratitude for the things we've been given, the things like that breath you just took, the things like the roof over your head, the clothes on your back, the food that you get to eat, when we forget those things, life can get pretty ugly when we forget about all the gifts we've been given. Sometimes we can get a little selfish when we forget about all those things. Okay, so look back to Deuteronomy 15, that verse about remembering. God gave the Israelites a way to live really generously by sharing what they had and remembering that they once were slaves, but God saved them. And the same goes for us. When we share or give something to someone, we're not only helping that person, we're helping ourselves remember that we have been given gifts. It helps us remember. It doesn't just help that person, it helps each and every one of us remember. So if we don't look at the suffering in the world and we turn a blind eye to the kid that doesn't maybe have enough food at school, or the kid that is really struggling with math when you're really good at math and you could help, when we don't share our toys, when we hold on to our toys really tight, and we don't share our money and our time and our talent and our health and our education, we don't share those things, well, sometimes we can get pretty selfish. I think you're right. When we give to others, it's not just about helping their suffering, but it's helping us to remember all the gifts we've been given. Right? We've all been given so many gifts. And when we only think about the things, when we forget the things we've been given, I think that is like not good for our brains, right? Does it kind of make our brain a little bit thinking about self all the time, right? When we think about having things my way, I want it my way. When we forget about all the things we've been given. So I want us to remember, so that we save ourselves from jealousy and greed. I want us to remember the things we've been given. So today, are you sharing and remembering all the gifts you've been given, or are you thinking about me, and more, and I want to consume more stuff, and I need more, and I'll be happier when I get an Xbox, or I'll be happier when I get that new car, or I'll be happier when I get that new sweater? Or are we thinking about sharing and serving others? Grown-ups, in your bulletin, there is a little spot where you can write down 3 ways that you have been given a gift. It's a great way for us to remember the gifts we've been given. That breath you just took is a gift. That love of a child, that love of a parent, that's a gift. That roof over your head, that's a gift. So it helps us remember all the gifts we've been given. So we're going to go upstairs. We're actually going to talk about this a little bit more upstairs while they continue on. So let's go.